Inke and insight, Orca, Marcus Aurelius. The night he chose who he would be. The most powerful man in the world was about to lose everything, not to an enemy army, not to famine, not to plague, to a friend. In 175 AD, Marcus Aurelius had ruled the Roman Empire for 14 years. He was a philosopher on a throne, a man who spent his nights writing private notes to himself about patience, discipline, and the nature of the human soul. He commanded millions of soldiers, he controlled the known world, and he had given his most trusted general, Avidius Cassius, command over the eastern half of his empire. Cassius was brilliant, loyal, Marcus had believed, a man he had treated as a brother. One night, a messenger arrived at the military camp on the Danubian frontier. Marcus was already sick, exhausted from years of war. The messenger handed him a letter. Cassius had declared himself emperor. He had stolen the eastern legions. He was marching toward Rome, and he was planning to have Marcus killed. Every general in that camp expected what came next. The order, the rage, the swift and total destruction an emperor with absolute power could deliver. Cassius's family could be executed before dawn, his followers hunted across the empire. Marcus had every right, every resource, and every reason to unleash the full weight of Rome onto the man who had betrayed him. Instead, Marcus Aurelius ordered every man out of his tent. He sat alone in the candlelight. The freezing wind pressed against the canvas walls. Outside, an empire waited for him to tell it what to feel. Inside, a man went to war, not with Cassius, but with himself. He pulled out the private journal he had kept for years, the one no one was ever meant to read, and he began to write. Not battle orders, not a list of enemies to destroy. He wrote a law for himself to live by when the sun came up. He wrote about what kind of man he intended to remain when the world gave him every reason to become something else. He wrote that the people he would face tomorrow, the betrayers, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the dishonest, would come. They always came. And he wrote that none of them had the power to touch what was inside him unless he handed them that power himself. He chose in that tent, alone in the dark, not to hand it over. Weeks later, before Marcus could even march east, Avidius Cassius was assassinated by his own soldiers. The rebellion collapsed without a battle. Marcus Aurelius rode into the eastern provinces not as a conqueror demanding vengeance, but as an emperor offering amnesty. He pardoned every soldier who had followed Cassius. He burned the letters that had been sent to Cassius by Roman senators, choosing not to read them, choosing not to know who else had betrayed him, so that he would not be tempted to punish them. When he was told that Cassius was dead, Marcus did not celebrate. He wept. He had wanted to look his betrayer in the eye and pardon him personally. That chance was gone, and he grieved it. The man who had every reason to become a tyrant had walked through the fire of betrayal and come out the other side. Exactly who he had decided to be in that tent on that freezing night. Here is what Marcus Aurelius understood that almost no one around him did. He understood that power over an empire means nothing if you have no power over yourself. The moment he received that letter about Cassius, two possible versions of Marcus Aurelius were born. One was the emperor who let the betrayal enter him, who let it make him paranoid, cruel, reactive, and bitter. The other was the emperor who felt the blow completely, sat alone with it, and then made a deliberate choice about who he would be because of it. The journal was how he made that choice. He did not suppress what he felt. He did not pretend the betrayal didn't cut him. He went into the darkness of his own tent, and he worked through it on paper until he had built a wall between what had happened to him and what he would allow it to make him. He burned the letters from the senators because he knew himself. He knew that if he read them, the anger would come, and he did not trust the anger, not because he was weak, because he was wise enough to know that anger in a man with absolute power destroys everything it touches, including the man himself. He pardoned Cassius's followers, not out of softness, but out of precision. He understood that the cruelty required to punish them all would cost him something he could never get back. It would cost him the version of himself he had built over a lifetime. Most people, when they are betrayed, ask what they should do to the person who betrayed them. Marcus Aurelius asked a different question. He asked what kind of person he intended to remain after the betrayal. That question, that single shift in what he was solving for, is the entire distance between a man who is destroyed by what happens to him and a man who is defined by how he responds. Every time something hits you, every time someone disappoints you, undermines you, or walks away, you are in that tent. You have the same choice Marcus had, not whether to feel it, you will feel it, but whether to let it rewrite who you are.